From the wars in Ukraine and Israel, we have a pretty good idea what the costs are for handling drone attacks. And right now, the U.S. uses missiles to counter drone attacks. Missiles cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, and drones that they're getting from Iran cost thousands of dollars. The economics don't work out. But one thing about military is that the cost of military, or keeping a military for your country, should drop, because the personnel costs should drop as you implement AI and automation. Let's talk a little about China, and that's our chief competitor and chief threat when it comes to military and AI. China has an organization where all of this information, through something called the military civil fusion, compels all the universities and all of the businesses to share information with the CCP. That gives them a huge advantage. Also, what recently happened is China has decided not to buy the NVIDIA chip. It's not the latest chip. I think it's called the H20. And where that presents a problem is now China is going to go off and develop its own AI chip that can be used in the military, which will eventually become a competitor to NVIDIA, AMD, and all the American companies. They have a huge investment in unmanned military drones, and they're testing military large language models, intelligent drones. They put a lot of money into training and war games, and are committed to AI in the military. There are 12 new AI labs connected in China to the best universities. Huawei has now decided Huawei will be the company to develop these chips. The big concern is Taiwan. Eventually, China will try to take Taiwan. That's going to be interesting. If you like the video, this is the time where you can really help me and give me a thumbs up and subscribe. But let's talk about AI in the military. But in order to do that, let's describe what artificial intelligence is. It's the ability for a machine to perform a human act, and an intelligent human act. Unlike automation, where a machine performs a repetitive act. But when you merge AI and automation together, that's where you come out with what militaries are implementing. So AI would be like in your car, climate control, and automation would be air conditioning. Now, you're probably familiar with AI through language models like Gemini and Chat GPT. And there will be language modules, large language modules, probably for all types of applications. There'll be one for training soldiers. There'll be one for maintenance, operations, various things in the military. There'll be large language models to assist the people with in specific tasks, supply chains, coding, schedule of maintenance, things like that. In AI, there's something called artificial general intelligence, and that's when you get a machine to think like a human. But even deeper than that is machine learning, and there's some pieces of machine learning which we're not going to go into. But machine learning gives the AI machine the ability to think on its own. the singularity is when AI can outthink man. How it works? Well, the first process is training the AI machine. And that's sending data or images or text to it so it gets used to it. But the problem in training, again, is biases. If the trainer or the person that's trained machine has a bias, it's going to show up in the inference stage, which we're going to get to. For example, Google announced Gemini, and the person that trained Gemini when it first came out had a bias because the inference, which we're going to get to, showed black founding first fathers and showed Chinese popes. So obviously, the training part is extremely important. After training, there's validation, which validates the training information. And the final input is inference, where it acts as a roadmap for validation and gives you the answer that you're looking for. I look at the Israel-Palestine war right now as a petri dish for what AI in the military in the future is going to look like. It really gets scary when drones cost $500 and they can be sent and they have to be counted by measures that cost a lot more than that. So in Israel, they have something called the Iron Dome, and what they're building toward is laser systems to handle $500 drones or a drone swarm. I mean, if you can imagine $1,500 drones coming into your country, how could you ever make sure they were not successful? Lasers might do that. And the U.S. has given Israel F-35 jets and allowed Israel to change the AI or modify the AI on the jets. This is really unheard of. And they're going to share that technology. The issue in the U.S. with AI is quality versus quantity, and bureaucracy, long lead times, overspending, excessive testing, over-regulating, and that becomes, it's good but it's bad. It's good because you know the product works, but it takes so long to get the product to market. So what has been countered is something called COTS, commercial off-the-shelf items. And there's a gentleman named Palmer Luckey. He's an entrepreneur, and he is developing products for the military, AI products, not to their standards, but to his standards and his people's standards, in hope that governments will buy off-the-shelf AI military equipment. Now, I should tell you, Palmer has a good background. He used to work, and he was the developer of Oculus headsets at Facebook. So, we've got to somehow get the cost down to handle drone swarms as they come in. Some of the plans the United States has is similar to the Iron Dome in America. One is being proposed is called the Golden Dome, which is a laser system and missile system supposedly the size of the Manhattan Project to develop the atomic bomb. That's the kind of work that's going to go into it. And it's supposed to protect all of North America. We're also doing work with our F-35 fighter jets to make sure that they're more AI enhanced. The United States has released some AI products. One is called the Switchblade, which is an unmanned drone. And this was the same type of drone that killed Soleimani, that Trump used in his first term. There's also a product called the Sea Hunter, and this is an underwater unmanned drone. It's amazing. It can stay underwater for months, collect data, knows exactly where to go to refuel, sense what type of submarines or things in its area, and transmit that back to a human being sitting at some station somewhere. But it's amazing. It goes 27 knots to about only 135 feet long. It has torpedoes and it has rockets. So I hope the video has been helpful to you. And if you liked it, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Have a great day.